Welcome to the Knapp Business Solutions YouTube channel, where we tackle the IRS and help you come out on top. Got a tax mess or question? I'm Josh, the CEO of Knapp Business Solutions, an EA with over 20 years of experience in tax. If you have a question about taxes or business, please call me, 806-576-3296. You can leave a voicemail with your question, and I'll do my best to get you an answer. Today is a little bit different because I want to cover something about restaurants. So today we're going to cover 8 things established restaurants should look for in business. And I'm excited to kind of jump into this topic. So let's start with just kind of a little bit of an intro to this. So owning a restaurant is like being in a toxic relationship. You keep pouring money into it, and it keeps yelling at you, and yet somehow you can't walk away. I don't know if that one hits home with you or not, restaurant owners, but that's how we feel sometimes, right? So number one, with these 8 tips is financial health. And what we're looking for there is financial health beyond daily sales, okay? So you started this thing, you get going in it, and you're thinking, hey, we're finally making a profit. Things are finally jiving. We're finally getting somewhere with this business. And that's great. But now, as this restaurant endeavor has matured, we have to think about what the next things we need to look at for success. Okay. And one of those things is not just the overall revenue, but what we want to talk about is profit margins. Okay. And this means that we're going to track our food cost percentage. It means we're going to track our prime cost, which would be our food plus our labor. And we're going to work to identify high margin versus low margin menu items. If you're not doing this in your restaurant business, or you haven't been doing this in your restaurant business, these are things that I would strongly recommend you look at. Identify those high margin items, identify those low margin items so you know. And if you start selling a lot of one or the other, you'll have a better understanding of how that's affecting your bottom line and your profit in that business. So many times we just look at our bank account and nothing else. And so if that's you, and I'm speaking to you, then let me tell you something. You've got a problem. You need to dial in those numbers so you're looking at that profit and loss. If you look at the profit and loss and you don't understand it, then you should reach out to an accountant. Get somebody that's going to teach you what those numbers mean and what percentages you need to look at. Established operators should also monitor cash flow, right? We also want to pay attention to those debt obligations. We want to ensure that we've got enough reserves to handle and take care of any kind of a slow season or an emergency. I'll give you an example. In 2020, when we had the shutdown, we lost 17% of restaurants across the US. They failed. Why did they fail? They didn't have proper cash reserves to get through those slow times. So things like 2020 do happen. Things like your business slowing down seasonally absolutely happens. Maybe the fair comes to town and everybody's spending the money at their fair. Or maybe, Christmas, which happens every December, happens, and you lose those customers that you've been used to, and that cash flow changes. So you need to have some reserves on hand to ensure that you've got that dialed in and properly taken care of and accounted for. Very, very, very important. Okay. Now, the other thing I would tell you to do on this topic is going to be benchmarking. And that's where we benchmark against industry averages. And that's going to help reveal any hidden inefficiencies that are creeping in your business over time. And that over time creep in your business can cost you tons of money, and it can cost you, people. It can cost you a lot of different things. Let's go to number 2. Menu performance. So when we start talking about menu performance, we want to think about what that looks like over time. Over time, customers' preferences, they shift. And restaurants that have been in business for a long time, they need to be paying attention to their menus. They may need to go back and audit those menus and ask these questions, okay? I'm going to give you 4 solid questions that you should ask about your menu. Number 1, which items are selling consistently? If you're selling that thing regularly and consistently, that's awesome. But then also, you know, which dishes carry those strong margins? So what are we selling consistently and what carries a strong margin? Next on the list is going to be which are dragging down the efficiency or profitability of our business. If you've got something on your menu and it takes like 5 people to create it, or it takes a significant amount of time and you're selling a lot of that product, that's great that you're selling it, but is it efficient and does it make sense with profitability? If we still want to keep making that product, maybe we need to raise our price on it. And then seasonal menu refreshes. So this is going to be like limited time specials, and those can definitely re-energize customer interest without abandoning your brand identity. So when you've got your brand identity of who you are and what you sell, that's amazing. We want to keep that because that's where people are coming to you for it. But maybe you need to offer something that's maybe not exactly your brand. Maybe your brand is, we're really good at hamburgers. But for the month of November, we're going to offer whatever it is, dot, dot, dot. And we're still going to keep that brand identity, but we're going to offer a new special, and that is going to hopefully bring in those customers. One thing that comes up a lot, and we deal with it, and it's not my favorite, is Yelp. What's the deal with these guys, man? They're hard to get a hold of. It's very frustrating. It seems every Yelp review starts the same way. And it always is like, I never write reviews, dot, dot, dot. And then they write, a dissertation about the water being too wet. God, Yelp drives me crazy. I would love for a way for us to review our customers. That would be amazing. But so far, nobody's invented that website. That brings us to number 3, staff retention and development. This one's a big deal because in established restaurants, turnover is such a hidden profit leak. And we've got to work on training, when we lose somebody, we got to work on training our new staff. And it's like this repeated problem and it increased costs and it disrupts service quality. And it's such a pain in the butt. It drives us all crazy. So one thing I would tell you is work with your team, invest in ongoing training and growth opportunities, right? Team members need recognition. Go out, recognize those team members where they're doing good, if they're on mission. Any way you can recognize them, recognize them. I can't stress this enough. Every business has culture. It's there. It's a part of who you are. If you don't like the culture that your business has, change it. Work to absolutely influence and take on that culture, okay? The other thing is recognize those team members. Obviously, we want to keep those top performers, right? And then, in these mature restaurants, you should also have a clear succession plan for those key roles. So like the head chef or a manager, anybody that's really loved by the team, we need to have a succession plan in case something happens. If all things fail and something happens and they're no longer part of our team, we need to have a plan for that. Customer loyalty. So this brings us to number 4, which is going to be customer loyalty and lifetime value. So we're going to work on attracting our new guests. And this is important. Established restaurants should focus on deepening loyalty with those existing customers. Okay. What does that look like? Well, we're going to work to deepen that loyalty. And here's some ideas. So you could offer like a loyalty program. You could offer a VIP club. The main thing that I love is those personal touches, like remembering maybe a birthday or favorite dishes that customer always comes in an order. These can dramatically increase repeat visits because oh, that's Mr. Jones and Mr. Jones likes fish, right? Whatever it is, those things add, especially to those repeating customers. Another thing I would tell you to do is, obviously, as I've been joking around, monitor those online reviews and respond consistently. And that will strengthen your reputation And then also the community presence, right? What is your community presence? Think about that. How do we impact our community? What does that look like? Is it positive? And is it bringing positive direction? So think about that and think about how that plays a role in what you're doing and how your business works. Nothing humbles you faster than a bad review. I could feed someone a 5-star steak and they'll complain. The forks weren't shiny enough, right? They always complain. So we can't worry about the naysayers. Instead, we've got to think about those loyal customers that are awesome and keep them coming back for more.
Unlock the power of full service payroll with Payority. What is full service payroll? It's the ultimate hassle free solution for managing your business's payroll needs. With full service payroll, every aspect of payroll processing is handled for you, from calculating wages and taxes to filing compliance reports and ensuring timely payments. You get peace of mind while saving time and resources.
Number 5, operational efficiency and technology updates. This can be a big one, especially with those businesses that have been around a long time. So maybe you're a second gen restaurant owner, or you've been in business for a while and you're really looking for ways to refresh or ways to impact your customers. Well, restaurants have been running for years, a lot of times rely on outdated systems. So we want to think about what kind of POS we're running, point of sale. So maybe we need to upgrade that POS. Maybe we need to look at how we're doing our reservations and our inventory systems. Maybe those need to be changed a little bit. All of that stuff can save thousands of dollars annually and make you a lot more efficient. Then the other thing I would tell you next is going to be look at the delivery and takeout channels. Maybe they're the best, maybe they're not. They should be reevaluated to ensure that fees don't eat up and eat into those profits. I'm okay paying some fees because we want to crank up the delivery and takeout. That's where the money's at. But we want to make sure that we're paying reasonable prices on that front. And then, of course, kitchen operations. They should definitely be audited periodically. And what we're looking for there is we're looking to cut down on things like food waste, or we want to streamline prep and possibly work to improve those ticket times. Okay. What's the difference in the local guy who I'm talking to and maybe those national chains? They're crazy about making sure that they're doing these periodical audits and they're really working on cutting down the food waste. They're streamlining their prep and they're really working on those ticket times, right? Because they're trying to get those repeat customers, and they know if we have short ticket times, short wait times, people are definitely going to be coming back. That brings us to number 6, which is brand relevance and community engagement. And this is something that can be hard. You've been doing this for a long time, right? You've been in this restaurant business for years. So what does that look like and how can we do this? What is brand relevance and community engagement? So longstanding restaurants are always at risk of becoming stale if they don't adapt. So we want to think about refreshing the brand. And we don't want to alienate core customers. So that's important. We want to make sure that those core customers feel like they're included in this updated signage or decor that we're changing and new marketing strategies. We just saw this with Cracker Barrel. It was a nightmare the way they approached it. They could have approached it in a better, more concise way, and it wouldn't have been a nightmare, right? And they could have still updated those things, but the why behind it becomes very important. And you want to think about your customers. You want to think about how this impacts them because we don't want to leave them behind, right? We definitely want to think about new marketing strategies, where customers are coming from and how we're getting in front of them, especially if we've been in business for a while. The next thing I would tell you is staying engaged with the community. This could be sponsoring local events, hosting charity nights, or partnering with nearby businesses, right? And all of that stuff is going to keep the restaurant visible and relevant. If you're not doing that kind of thing, you definitely need to reevaluate your marketing and your positioning within the community. And people ask, what's it like owning a restaurant? I always say, imagine juggling knives on fire while people yell at you that their ranch dressing isn't ranchy enough. Okay, enough of that. So that brings us to, we're going to get to our next point.
Dedicated support. Our payroll experts are with you every step of the way, ensuring accuracy and reliability. Ready to simplify your payroll? Visit payority.com to learn how our full-service payroll solutions can transform your business.
Which brings us to number 7, risk management and compliance over time. And this kind of is a big deal, right? So with risk management and compliance, we want to think about what that looks like with established restaurants. So you guys have been doing this for a minute, and you must stay vigilant with license, health codes, labor regulations. All of those things are very important. And complacency can lead to fines, even shutdowns in some cases. The next thing I would say is pay attention to your insurance coverages. Should they be updated? Is it time for me to relook at my liability, my workers' comp, property and casualty, even cyber insurance if you're storing or using customer data? Also, keep in mind, those mature restaurants should have clear and concise plans for events like supply shortages or equipment failures, or worst case scenario, PR issues. This is something that we've seen in our community where a restaurant maybe didn't have they had a PR problem because they didn't do something properly and it gets into the newspaper. We should have a contingency plan on how we're going to deal with and negate that stuff. Talk about it, have a plan before it actually comes up. Number 8, future growth and exit planning. Even if expansion or selling isn't immediate, restaurants should always look ahead. So what's on the horizon? What does the future look like? And what does it mean? When we have this growth, what does that need to be? Do we need to consider doing something like franchising, adding locations, expanding catering, or diversifying into maybe packaged goods? You see that with different restaurants over the years. Sometimes they'll do those types of things to ensure that they are set up for the future. Then, last but not least in this one is going to be exit planning. Whether you are passing the business to the family, you're selling it, you're transitioning management to ensure the years to come will be a thing of lasting value to the community, you want to think about what that exit looks like. You want to have a plan, you want to keep it in mind. And this is something that you definitely want to bring in your tax specialist, your attorney. There's ways to structure this that can be very tax beneficial to all parties involved, and that's what I would recommend. So keep in mind the big picture. For established restaurants, it's not about survival anymore. Congratulations, you've made it. It's about sustaining momentum, protecting profits, and staying relevant in a market where customer expectations are changing regularly. Once again, I'm Josh. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good one.